Hi, my name is Dan. The social issue today is same-sex marriage harmful to America? Peter Sprigg from the Top 10 Harms of Same-Sex Marriage, Family Research Council 2013, says yes, it is harmful. He is concerned about how various institutions are likely to change as a result of same-sex marriages and are likely to change their regulations and enforcement practices. Peter Sprigg argues that marriage must remain heterosexual. Here are 10 ways in which society could be harmed by legalizing same-sex marriage. One way society could be harmed is that taxpayers, businesses, and consumers would be forced to subsidize homosexual relationships. Homosexual marriages revolves around all the government benefits that they can claim, which they have been denied. For instance, homosexuals want their partners to be eligible for Social Security survivors benefits when one partner dies. Homosexuals want children raised by homosexual couples to be eligible for benefits when one of the partners dies. They want the benefits even if the partner is not the child's biological or adoptive parent. Employers who, because of principle or economic reasons that do not want to grant benefits to homosexual partners, would be forced by court orders to do so. Another way society could be harmed is that though advocates of same-sex marriage claim that it will have little impact on anyone other than the couples who marry, it is not true. It is affecting public schools. Some gay and lesbian advocates are working on a new gay-friendly curriculum for kindergarten and up. Another way society could be harmed is that freedom of conscience and religious liberty would be threatened. There could be serious damage to religious liberty. Non-discrimination laws based on sexual orientation would be legal. So when Catholic Charities in Boston insisted that they would stay true to principle and refuse to place children for adoption with same-sex couples, they were told by the state that they could no longer do adoptions at all. There are also a variety of benefits that the state gives to nonprofits that can be removed if the organization refuses to treat same-sex couples differently than heterosexual couples. They can be denied government grants, access to public facilities for events, and may have their tax-exempt status removed. Some long-term effects of how same-sex marriage affects society is that fewer people would marry. Figures show that the vast majority of homosexuals do not need nor desire to participate in the institution of marriage. It sends a message to society that marriage does not matter. It sends the message that marriage is no longer the normative setting for sexual relations and child rearing, but is instead nothing more than a relationship option to receive government entitlement programs to those who seek taxpayer-funded benefits. By homosexuals not marrying, it sets an example for other couples, making non-marital cohabitation seem more acceptable. This could result in lower marriage rates among heterosexual couples. Society would also be harmed because fewer people would remain monogamous and sexually faithful. One strong value among homosexual couples is that marriage itself is a sexually exclusive relationship. The same is not the case among homosexuals. especially among homosexual men, having sex with multiple partners is tolerated and even expected. Among married heterosexuals, 75% of men and 85% of women report never having had extramarital sex even once during the entire duration of their marriage. This is in contrast to homosexual men in partnered relationships who had an average of 8 sexual partners per year outside of the primary relationship. Society could be harmed by fewer people remaining married for a lifetime. Lawrence Kordek, a homosexual psychologist, after extensive research about whether or not homosexual relations last, found that couples dissolve their relationships more frequently than heterosexual couples, especially those with children. In one study, out of 156 male couples, only 7 had been together longer than 5 years, and none of those 7 remained faithful to each other. These homosexual relationships can become part of the ideal of marriage. It will result in lifelong commitment to decline among the heterosexual couples to harm society as a whole. Society will be harmed because children would grow up fatherless. As children grow up without a married mother and father, they will be deprived of the tangible and intangible benefits and security that come from the family structure. Most who live with only one biological parent, 79%, usually live with the mother. Children raised by their married mother and father experience lower rates of many social pathologies, including premarital childbearing, illicit drug use, arrest, health, emotional or behavioral problems, poverty or school failure or expulsion. The benefits of being raised by a married mother and father get passed on to future generations because children are less likely to cohabit or to divorce as adults. Society will be harmed because birth rates will fall. The contribution of same-sex marriage to declining birth rates would clearly lead to significant harm for society. Fewer couples will procreate and fewer babies would be born. This is opposed to the fundamental task of any society, which is to reproduce itself. Another long-term harm can be done to society because demands for legalization of polygamy would grow. If the natural sexuality between male and female is to be discarded as a requirement to marriage, and only love and companionship are truly necessary elements of marriage, then why should other relationships that provide love, companionship, and a lifelong commitment not also be recognized as marriages, including relationships between adults and children, or between blood relatives, or between 3 or more adults? What would prevent pedophiles, polygamists, or the incestuous the right to marry the person or persons of their choice? Share, comment, subscribe. Thank you.